if I miss that little item, I get bad points. No. In your final project, everything will fall. Okay? So this is simple, similar to the textbook. Here in a new map project, open this up, put this in, build a map series. Similar patterns, super easy, not trying to make your life miserable. It's a teaching experience, okay? Speaking of teaching experience, let's open up ArcGIS Chrome. Can you see that? Open up the browser, I open up Chrome, and I go to a web page called ArcGIS.com. Alright? Quick check-in. Everyone sees this on the page, on the web browser. And this has nothing to do if you have software installed. You can do it on any computer, in anywhere in the world, as long as you have internet. You can't do it on a boat without internet. Alright? Now, you're going to sign in. Down here, big button. Oh. Just wondering. Alright, here on the sign-in, that is the username I have given you. If you use the book, and you go to the web page to download your software and you type in that code from the inside of the book, it will ask you for an account that will get associated with that. That is different from the account here of _RED. I double checked that with SREE yesterday.
So you would want us to set up that too?
If you want to use the book and the software with all the licensing that comes with the software, particularly the Arc Map for desktop, the second pro software, the whole package of the book, you would need to use a separate account, create account. Yeah? Let's say I use GoodSurf for all the fun stuff, but I use user accounts here in the class with _RED. Why is that? A, if you take the book, you get a 180 days of trial, and Dr. Foggy says it's always like software companies are a little bit like truck dealers. They give you samples, they want to hook you up, and they want to make sure that you will continue to use it. Yeah? True. It's a very rough comparison, but it's somewhat true. Yeah? Because you start liking something and you're actually taking steps to use that. So after 180 days with the book, you're basically saying, how am I going to keep using this? I'm a student or I'm a professional. There are different licensing products and costs. Yeah? They also give you 180 days and like 200 points online. And if you run out of the 200 points online, they give you the option to buy points in 1,000 point stamps. And it's probably going to be $100-something for 1,000 points. Yeah? That's one reason why we are using, for the purpose of this class, the NOVA associated or real estate development associated accounts. Why? Because I put 3,000 points on your account already with the _RED. So there are two different worlds you can do. On Canvas, I plugged in last night a module for downloads. It says GIS software to download. And one of the GIS software to download is ArcGIS Pro, as it would come to me to install it here on these machines. We'll fix that.
Thank you.
I had several phone calls yesterday. Yeah. On that note, I'm happy to help if it's a decent time and decent warning time to accept things. Like in her case, she sent an email. I'm like, okay, this is not going to work out. What's your phone number? And pretty much the moment the email came in, I called her, and she's like, hello. It's an Idaho telephone number, so don't get scared. Don't call me at midnight. Yeah? Or anywhere. Sometimes if you, let's say, if you can't make it to class, an email is good enough because it's also on record. A phone call, I don't know what you said. Huh? So, try to help. In Canvas there are chat options with screen share that helps as well if it's working on your computer. Phone call, always happy. That's that. For the purpose of this class, installing the ArcGIS Pro for downloading it on your computer is good enough and using this account. The book gives you more options. The book gives you more in-depth options, additional licensing that will help. We are exposing you in here for ArcMap for desktop. You need to see it. You need to see that other world. Yeah? But since we have limitations and constraints on your computer side, I can't test something you have no ability to practice for. Yeah? It's bad enough for me, bad language. It's serious enough, not bad enough, it's serious enough that I have a significant amount of students using Apple products for which the software is not available. Which is okay with me because I can do a lot of stuff online. So just because you're an Apple user, logging in here should be no problem at all. Yeah, there might be some other issues later, but that should be no problem. So we're going to put a little bit twist on the class as it was always, like the direction of the class, same content but different tools. That's the power of changing those generations of software. Yeah? So I got this. Doesn't seem like you guys understand here and there what kind of stress level that is in the back office right now. If you see folks out there at the counter, say thank you and hello and goodbye. Last Sunday after the class, last Sunday afternoon, I had 2 tech guys sitting here with me all afternoon for 4 hours and fixing the problems. Fingers crossed it will work for the whole class today. But all the machines we tested, and Bruce was there helping to test too. Hashtag, if you come in to study, you might get hijacked. Yeah. And I'm seriously into that stuff, that you guys get the access and the information you want and need in this class. Again, you should yell at the bookstore. Angry email. It's hard to find. There's not really an email on contacts on that online portal. Go over there, ask for the manager. Do not accept, oh, this is an online bookstore, we just get delivered. There's NSU on it, and we stand for quality. Yeah? So please make that pressure point. I have done in the past some complaints, but next semester they forget about that. I'm at the point where I cannot recommend the bookstore for the purpose of my classes, because it's not the first time that they're so late with this kind of delivery. And the fact that 1 or 2 students got a cancellation is outrageous. And I mean that in a very calm way. I saw that email last night and I'm like, let's change class for today to give you more time to catch up on the book. I have 1 copy because it's brand new. If this would be the old version of the book, I would have 7 copies, something like this. I have 1 copy. I can give you that copy if it wouldn't be at home. But you can borrow that maybe on Tuesday or on Wednesday if you still don't have it. Yeah? And do a copy, 1 or 2 pages or the whole chapter you need to practice for. At this time, there is no acceptance of delay with that book. We need to work around that problem and solve it. The reason why I'm spending like 3 or 4 minutes of class time on this is because it's freak out, ridiculous. In the age of just-in-time deliveries and on-print demand and all that stuff, it's... That said, I never got my copy from my last order from SREE directly, but that is a different issue. But the bookstore here should... Site planning class, since we talk about books. Site planning class, everyone has a site planning book right now?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Real estate market analysis.
No.
No, for one sure, you have no book, no book.
book.
All right, another reason to yell at them. Yeah, it's 16 weeks. But at the end of September, there's a test coming. And you gotta read that stuff. You can't do that just in one night of setting. So literally confront them that your academic performance is challenged and in jeopardy with that book. And in worst case, order it on Amazon and cancel the bookstore. At this point, I don't care. I rather care about your academic performance and your happiness in learning than if that bookstore makes a penny out of this class. I'm seriously angry about that. On that note, let's do some fun. I'm logging in with my user for this class, so I'm using multiples. That's the reason why I look like a DJ here. I'm going to use my account. You should log in with yours. And hopefully we did not forget our passwords. Did forget our password. Okay. That's not cool.
I really think mine looks messed up later too, because when I go to ArcGIS Pro, it doesn't let me in like it did last week.
Password is the same password I gave you guys, yeah? You set up yourself in the email. Okay. Do you have issues to log in?
No. It's the password you created when he sent you the link. I think there was like a hyperlink attached.
Okay. This is the issue.
Yeah.
By email.
There's no things there, basically.
Ah, this one works.
That's just a
Members.
Professor?
Yeah.
I think you forgot to type RED at the end.
No, I did.
You did?
That's the confusing part. I did.
I really did not know until today how touch me. That's what the whole thing I said.
On the map tab, you will walk up and then navigate, click the full Excel
Let's just reset the password. All right. Technical delays. In case you can't log in, there's a password reset. In case you can't log in, you can send me an email. I will be able to reset that for you. Okay? Let's do this.
No, no,
Just type in this right.
but he was always late. Smart dude. He's an early.
Intelligent, right?
He was always late. To everything.
They're saving right now. That's how you do it. All you do is type in tutorial 101 and then you realize that's stereotype. You give two different interpretations and you play with it for your higher.
Sorry about that delay. Here we go. All right. TW. Log out.
Yeah, it was like 7.
All right. Moment of truth. Sometimes maybe you just have to click hard. Okay, welcome. So what you're going to see is a so-called startup screen for your ArcGIS Online. It's also known as northsoutheastern.maps.arcgis.com. If you want to sign in, the simplest way and fastest way is type in arcgis.com and log in with your credentials. That username is unique. Wherever you log in for arcgis.com, it will pick up on that. Yeah? We didn't do any fancy things here. You will see a few ideas. First, this is your profile. Everything okay? Everyone sees that? Everyone is logged in?
Yep.
All right, good. Jack, you want me to reset your password? It's your email initials _RED. Ah. Oh. Yes. Don't do that to me, Woody.
I forgot I went there yesterday
Okay, who cannot sign in? Everyone but Jack?
yeah, because I was thinking yesterday, and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Check also your last name. What's your last name?
First two. There's something with the assignments that you did. There's like literally screenshots. Yeah, I did see that.
So it's JP.
It walks you through it. This one, I did the chapter 2 ones, yeah, and it walks you through it, but not like before. It doesn't have like screen grabs and everything. It tells you like what to do, but it doesn't say where.
What? Good.
I was 2.
So they'll send you an email with some cryptic password, you log in, there's a cryptic password, you copy and paste that over and type it in. Alright, so quick things. Here, if I click here on my name, profile, I see my current username. If I click on this, it loads up. You can put your image here, avatar, what you want, but I also want to point out that there's a ton of information you want. Over the course of this program, you will see this is a diminishing number. No? It's a ton of points. After today, you realize, okay, I can use all of them if I don't care.
How many should we have? Because I got 10.
I did not update you yet.
Okay.
Wait. It's okay.
Are video tutorials associated with this book? No? Oh, Google. I don't know, mine doesn't look like that.
What about now? Refresh.
Yeah, there it is.
Here it is. Ta-da. I did yours last time. D.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so the important part here is also who can see your profile. You are set up as in, you should be set up as in within organization or work group, which means you have potential to share your work, which also means I have, as a fellow student in this account, the opportunity to take a look at what you do. As the admin account, I have the obligation to take a look at what you do. Okay, so if I click home, come back, we could do some funny maps here, but I haven't done it yet. We just merged this with the Oceanographic Center, so we're making it easy. The way I want to do this is I want to go through major menu points to point them out, and then we're going back and investigate each step by step. Yeah? And I have a little bit of time, so I might jump with one of the two, so I really build this idea of excitement and knowledge that I can test. Because yeah, cool, you see the 3D maps, but I can't test you on the 3D maps in the assignment because just showing doesn't mean you can do it. Okay? So, essentials. We have here Galleria, map, scene, groups, content, organization. Galleria is easy. You can see everything that is done in this organization popping up. And as you can see, some of you guys are doing works. And some are following the book by the letter and saying, hey, let's upload this, etc. It's a good thing. Don't smile at me. It's a good thing. I saw it last night. So we're going to use it. Yeah? So you can see all the other stuff. You can see the other departments using work here. Yeah? At the end of the semester or this class, this is loaded with a ton of stuff. Okay. Still there? Can you do me a favor and follow her and me right now? I will make a short break and help you set up. You went through the email? All right. All right. So what we're going to do is, gallery is nice, but not really cool. Cool things happen in there, but it's not helping us right now. Map, we are doing it later. Groups is interesting because it gives you the idea as who else is in the classroom. Yeah, I have two pieces here as the user, my test user. This is our class right now, and this is my prep world. Yeah? You can see here, this is viewable by the organization. I will actually change that so it stays with us. Yeah? So if I click on this, I can see every work everyone has done at that share level. I also can show who are my members. Yeah? And you should see the same thing. So in theory, I could click here on Ryan and can identify a few things, let's say items, what Ryan is doing right now, what he has done so far.
Bum. Bum. Full bum.
That means I just look at Ryan's content. So if I click on my content myself, it will load what I have done so far. And on the left side, you will probably see that there's something different from yours than mine right now, because it says BA, application data, and project data. It might be the case that you do not have that yet, because you never logged into Business Analyst. Yeah? So the fact that this shows up here in my ArcGIS Online bucket means I might be able to share this at some time. Okay? So if I have my bucket here with ArcGIS Online, I will have a bucket, what we call later Business Analyst Online. And just because I have a product that says BA project, it links the things. So keep that in mind. One is your workhorse to get the work done. The other one you can make a colorful map and make it shiny and happy. That will come later. All right. If I'm in my content, I have my favorite tab. This is exactly like your web browser. You can select your favorites. Yeah? Ryan, you are going to be my favorite. Just kidding. I also can look again at my groups, but this is content of my groups. So now I can see work done in detail. I even can take a look at the view counts, which is a new feature. So do not freak out about that. This is not a controlling function, and it's not a race or a competition. Huh? It's, again, just browsing through a bunch of things to show you that what is out there. Same thing with organization. Yeah? And same thing with Living Atlas. Living Atlas is something darn cool. Why? Because Living Atlas combines all the work and all the data someone put online into this system and shared it as a service or as fun. Let's do this. Okay? World traffic map. If I click on this, it hops into the map or map viewer. Okay. Let's organize us on the screen first before we look at what we see. Okay. Everyone clicked on World Traffic Map. Did you see that? On this so-called map or map viewer, I can have now different pieces. I have here my profile. I can call it new map. I have some details here. I have content. I can scroll down and organize. That's my legend. That's my content. So I can move these things around. Guys, listen up. The fun part comes in a moment. Okay? I have an add button where it says I can add content from anywhere in the world or even from my computer. Okay?
Is it another layer?
Yes.
Wait for it. You can put hundreds of layers on it. I can also go and say base maps, and I can select anything else I want to put underneath that. Let's say imagery. In that case, you see the aerial photography of parrots in front of you with traffic counts, traffic patterns. I can, on the left side here, I also can say I want to see it or I don't want to see it. I can switch it off if I want to. No? Then I have the analysis button, which is going to be a little bit of our time later. If I click the analysis button, it will change and will give me fun stuff I can deal with, like find locations. You can see all these buttons. I will help you in a moment. Let me finish this. See all these functions. They're like icons like we have seen in ArcGIS Pro. And it goes on and on and on. Analyze patterns. Use proximity. Create buffers. Remember the yellow rings around the location? I could use buffers here. Drive time. Danger, danger, danger is this.
Can we use that same map to incorporate data into whatever we're doing?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
And you can use, let's say, the traffic data
Right.
and plug it in on your local machine.
So this is up to date, like right now, info? How does that work?
Give me a moment. This historical data, and it could be live data too.
Okay.
The live data is scary. Yeah? All right. Warning sign here. If you use the function data enrichment, let's say you have a few areas marked up, and you use data enrichment, and you plug in population, income, other factors in there. For every item you process, you will be charged certain points against your count. So data enrichment and some of the processes are at cost. That means, if I would click here, at the far end, it says show credits. So once I'm done with all that, it will actually pop up. It would give me the idea how much I will be charged for that. Normally, it shouldn't be a problem if you stay local. But if you, let's say, do the whole data enrichment for a process where you have a basis as the United States of America, everything is gone.
Was that?
Yeah? So be aware of that. Certain processes are going to be costly. The major outcome for today is doing some market reports. Every report you generate is going to be a charge. Small ones, point here, point there, 10 point there. But it adds up very quickly into 100 or 200. That's another reason why we are really blessed that we have this larger amount of points rather than 400 for the whole class, and I have to give you a few in between. All right. So this is very cool. We can zoom out, zoom in. I want you to explore a little bit here with the base map, but also go back to home, content, and living atlas. Here, content, living atlas, and play for a minute or two just browsing through this. So you have categories here. You have regions here. You have anything you can imagine. Here, this is the live stuff. World Traffic Service is the live stuff. Yeah? You have high-end resolution imagery. Let's do like 3 minutes, and I can help Jack to fix this problem. Okay. There's also a search function, so you can actually search for topics in that.
So you do those and then
You guys are, what was your question?
and then you upload them to what he's saying.
Oh yeah? So there are a ton of stuff out there. If you scroll down, you will actually see that the EUSRI Netherlands, that's the Netherlands, is doing a lot of things. They have a really cool portal here. They are really pushing this to the limit. Yeah, but we're not going there. We're going back home because we still have to do a few tabs. Here, so home gallery. I have map. We explored map already. If I click on this one, it should come up with a standard setup on my map. Remembered my Paris example right now. Yeah, but the quick introduction before I switch topics is scene. If you click home, let's go back to the startup, so you can see it's always like one starting point. If I go to scene, it pops open a 3D enabled arc scenery. This is like boom, mind blowing. But let's see. Mm-hmm.
Is it a problem of, we can get our minds blown.
Some people can load, others can't.
Alright, reload with your browser, please. And then click scene. And it should look like this.
Look, this looks like the thing that you did, right?
Okay.
No, like the one that you uploaded. Yeah, the one. Yes, on the
Remember this happened.
Are you
on the discussion that you put.
That's it, my
That's a great day in class.
Alright, who else has a problem with technology? Are you using Internet Explorer? Try Chrome, as we started the class with Chrome. Did I say Chrome in the beginning or I said browser? Okay, sorry. Try Chrome. Huh? Everyone get that?
Oh, here.
Oh,
Use Chrome.
Alright.
Oh yeah, I will do that. Yes, I will do that. Sorry, I have to process that.
Chrome non-Chrome people will come in a second. Now it's working? Perfect. I want to point out two things. I want to take a look at the Capitol Reef National Park trails. Click on that. Reload. Give us a 3D model. At least last night on the laptop it gave me one. Yeah? Oh, that's actually the boring thing. So, you can move this around, and rendering, depending on the computer speed, might be an issue. With the left mouse, you can move this around, up and down, left and right. With the right mouse, you can tilt it. With both mouse clicks, you can move it. No, that's actually S3. And you can, with the mouse wheel, you can zoom in, and then now this blurb.
Scroll.
This is not a red worm. This is actually the visualization of a park trail showing where all the park trails are. If you look at the legend, this is actually a pipe called capital V
When he says
National
look at
Park
the
Trail.
legend, he doesn't mean me.
So the visualization for a line in this case is a pipe. So if you zoom out, tilt this whole thing, tilt even more.
Professor, how did you tilt?
Right click. Right click, keep the right
I see it.
mouse button down and tilt over. This is very cool. The application for real estate and urban planning is 0. But it's cool. Let's take a look at, let's go back.
Do I even have to go more?
Let's go back and pick visualize new developments.
How'd you go back?
I told you, gotta have a mind blow away.
It's like Tony and Sheen. Yeah.
Alright,
So are they building?
Which one was it?
Where did you go?
Or are you uploading?
It looks
You
like.
just go to the home button. Just click on home.
that's just right now. This is what's possible.
The
Yeah?
building.
This is not giving you an idea of how many months someone was looking at this and building.
Visualize.
Alright, what you can see here, again, this is in the browser, these are 3D models of some really interesting looking buildings in an area of interest that has development scenarios. You can see this here, development scenario, land for demolition, non-project buildings. So, same thing, you can move around with the mouse click, left mouse click, you can zoom in, zoom out with the mouse wheel, or you can see part of that town is developed in 3D models. Those are what I call at all time those extruded block models. Huh? This is as much fun as we go to. We're going to build these. Where are we? Alright, where are we? Good thing. Well, why don't we tilt this whole thing? And then take a look at the streets. Can't read the streets upside down, so why don't I turn around this whole thing? How did I do this last night? Turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around.
I'm in the middle of the ocean.
Yep. Turn around, and at some point of time you will see a language that says Portland.
Hey, it looks like the Ohio map.
I'm in the Pacific Ocean.
Okay? So,
Oh, there's.
the mind-blowing part, this is the reason why I want to present this,
People live in
Yeah.
Portland.
to show you what's possible. If I go here and take a look at this, I have here the bottom bookmarks.
That's enough.
I'm going to click on the first bookmark, down here.
Where are they taking? Are they?
This is a scenario built out, model 1.
Where the hell's this one?
Get rid of the old buildings, put new buildings on. Next bookmark. This is scenario B. Yeah? This is the demolition.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so excited.
Are you okay? Ready? Hold her or his hand, because excitement, it's going to be a roller coaster. This is the Riverwalk view for scenario A.
Are those the trees of the future?
Are they trees?
Yeah. So to think about this, each of those trees is a point. Remember when I said I could visualize a point as a 3D tree? This is an example for that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
This is
So you
awesome.
also see there's a terrain.
Teaching heads of the future.
There's terrain in the back. I just went through a
Looks
building.
like my city.
Yeah. There's terrain in the back in Portland. It has hills, and you can get an idea on how this will look like.
Is this Arizona?
Different angle, different scenario. This is scenario B. Now you can, technically you could compute with the sun, you can compute the winter shadows for that scenario.
What?
That's this bookmark.
I wouldn't, but I could.
You're not getting into that
I
modeling
would
part,
not.
but now you can see in a winter scenario setup, this is how those 4 towers would drop their shade on the other adjacent property. Yes, please.
What about the, can you model the runoff?
This is so cool.
Probably not in this one, but you can do that in addition.
I don't know,
Alright.
but we're doing
How
it.
does this turn into like?
Here's the shades for the other scenario.
Homework is
Summer
Homework is confusing.
and summer shadow for the other one. Yeah? So to give you just an idea of,
Wait, where is it?
this is really cool stuff that it could turn into 3D back in the days. We didn't have that back in the days. Yeah?
Yeah.
The coolest thing we were able to do is those blocks. Now you can actually model these guys in detail. Like look, depending on the software you used, you can actually check the documents.
Okay, so then it's built
This
in.
is
brick,
all-
yeah.
We have software you could model now the inside floor.
What?
I got the new license. I might just put it on my laptop and show you a demo.
Yeah.
Like the Fifth Element. Remember Fifth Element movie?
Mm-hmm.
That city is in 3D. Yeah. All right. We gotta get a few things done for the class.
So the models are built third-party apps, and then they're stitched in?
Not necessarily. This could be a Google SketchUp. Could be also a cityscape or city engine model. Back in the days, it was Google SketchUp, the volume model, reference it.
Look, solar
plug it in.
panels. It is
Super easy.
eco-friendly. Wow.
But the power is, let's say, simple stuff like
Where are you? You're lost.
visualization of the demolition versus existing buildings. And the idea is,
Portland
hey,
City Center.
where is this located in the context of the whole city?
Yeah, Portland's my city. Portland's weird on purpose.
Great. You even could animate that in terms of video and put that out.
You don't
Huh?
know listen to it.
So, all right. Let's go back to the home.
Pretty much a diehard fan,
And let's do one thing. Let's open up ArcGIS Pro. Should be on the desktop, or you type in
What do you mean? You did
ArcGIS
the homework. What?
I know.
Pro.
Here,
Here,
watch.
You did
ArcGIS
that
Pro.
I think Ryan wants to see.
So fingers crossed, in theory, you should get a pop-up. It's just a demo how to use the online world into the pro world.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it's still like the same as last week.
Wait for it, we fixed it.
I know, but it doesn't.
It's different than last week.
Alright, hopefully.
Mine works.
So this is the ideal case, that's what you should see,
Oh, you're like real.
but you might see something like this.
Hey. Nope.
Or is there a third option?
The third option would be you'd see this as completely gray out.
What about if it automatically signed me in? I'm good, right? If I got neither of those two
And
options.
if you see this, you choose the option here, named user license, you can use your underscore RED account. Let me show you, let me see what's wrong with yours.
That's exactly what happened last week.
Oops.
You can look on the automatically.
Yeah, that's not good, that's not much better.
I have all the points, and the points got a warning and stuff like that.
Okay, who's logging in and sees a gray box on top of that license? You're logged in. You're coming out.
Did we merge these?
I don't know what you're logged in.
Right when I sat down and I tried to log in, this happened. I knew I was. This is not good. Yeah.
I'm in there. I'm
At least I did some of the
homework.
He was like, it's not really like his fault. No, nothing he can do. But he just feels like he has to do something. He does. Well, he has to figure something. But it's something he can do. And it seems like it's like later. He gets yeah, it's just not fair. I just don't understand this. Like, I don't understand why it was wrong. He fixed it. Apparently.
Troublemakers in that corner. Well, yeah. So it's Alex. We gotta fix you.
Am I the only one?
You're the only one.
Oh my god.
Which we checked all of that. Everyone in the first row got that? Alright. So, ideally, some people did that before I said you should do it. I can log in with my account.
What's weird is like doesn't let me log out or log back in.
And I don't want this
It never
remember.
asked me for my login information. I think that's the way. First time I logged in.
Not doing anything, but I could. Keep going.
If we're just keeping it work.
Alright, so if this is my startup screen, yeah, I want to open up a new or create a new project, and I want to do this as a map template. Like a map. So I want to do a global scene or local scene, I want to do a map.
No, not sure. Yeah, it's question.
And right now I don't really care about all of that.
Okay, so we're gonna type something.
So just exit out, just say.
And I open up that map template. Here, that map. So what it does is it prepares everything in the background for me, and it opens up my project and the map inside the project, because I can have multiple maps and details.
Are you double?
You guys okay?
Yeah, I was just loading.
This one?
Takes a moment. Again, we have here our toolbars and ribbons on the top, which are supposedly coming in a moment. Yeah. Now you can see that they are getting activated. You can see that I have a tab called the map.
Oh, okay.
It loads the content, but right now there's pretty much nothing in there. No. It comes in with the basics of the US map. And it comes in here with a catalog we'll investigate a little bit later. Think about this catalog here like your file explorer in Windows. You can browse a few things, you can find a few things, etc. Just for navigation purposes and exploring this tool, I want you to go to here to Map, Explore, and you hover over that, it gives you the idea of what's going on, how do you navigate. Alright?
Oh,
And I want to navigate down to Miami. And I just drop my mouse wheel on the location I want to zoom in. That's just good enough. I'm going to find my Fort Lauderdale. Alright? Super simple, similar to map, Google Maps and other mapping software we had. The only confusing part is all these different buttons and symbols on the top. But hey, they are similar to what we have seen already in different setups. So if I click here on base map, on the arrow on the bottom here, I get all these pop-ups here. Did I see this before? Yes. In here, when I do my map, let me just demonstrate that for timing purpose. If I do in my map viewer online, if I click base map, it shows me similar selections. It feeds from the same source, okay? So how do I get, as an example, all my traffic counts that are not on this map here, how do I get that into my project? Well, that's the next step. I use the Add Data button. If I click carefully here on the Add Data, on the plus Add Data, I have variations of input I can use. I choose Add Data here as Add Data to a map. Then it asks me, hey, what kind of data would you like to add? Okay. Well, we are connected to the internet. We are logging in with our RED account. Our RED account is associated with ArcGIS.com. So right now, what we could do is we use ArcGIS.com as a so-called portal. I click here on the portal, and I see here Living Atlas. Oh, that's not what I've seen before, but maybe those are the same names. So if I scroll down, I can maybe find my world my world's traffic, or search here and say traffic. Yeah, so if I'm here on Living Atlas, type in here traffic and hit enter, now I can get all the traffic which I have access to. And I could use now the World Traffic Service. Click on that, click OK, and it will take a moment to load,
I feel like a failure.
but in theory, it should pop up with the World Traffic Service, and maybe it shows the whole world and forgets where I'm at. So I'm going back to Miami,
I feel you.
and now I have all the major streets and the current load on the major streets. And there are options to switch them on for live and not, but this I think is live right now. This is your current traffic. If you zoom in closer and closer and closer, it really changes even to the minor streets, and then even to the neighborhood streets. The question, how reliable is that little neighborhood street? I don't know. But on the major ones, that's pretty okay. Yes, please.
So then the code we've got in our jobs for the client application, like this kind of application.
If you use, let's say, Google Maps and current traffic, and Google Maps tells you, oh, major traffic on this road, here's a different route, they're probably feeding in a similar service. It might be that this service is actually from Google, but all Google is using the same.
If we would have used the Florida traffic, would it have not zoomed us all out? Since we asked for world.
Well, the reason why it's called world is because I could go maybe into another country.
Right.
If that country is covered, I can see what's going on in the country.
The whole
Just
country has
because it's called
traffic.
world doesn't mean it presents regional data.
No, there was another section that said Florida traffic, that's what I meant.
Well, let's add the data. Repeat. Add data. Add data. Go to Living Atlas. Go to type in traffic. Hit enter. Florida traffic.
I just don't want it to win.
Takes a moment.
I don't parlay.
Give me a moment. Next magic trick. If I want to go to Florida traffic, and I'm in the middle of Poland right now, I go here to Florida traffic and right click on it and say zoom to layer. Right click, zoom to layer. And it jumps to where traffic in Florida is located, and I switch off the World Traffic Service, so I should see Florida only if I zoom in. I haven't tested Florida traffic, so annual daily average. So for that, you might need to scroll in really closely. And you can see the different classifications. And now you would need to know what's a 5 and a 6. If you click on it, it might tell you what's a 5 and a 6, because it identifies the result. So if I zoom in closely, and click here on Turnpike, click on the segment, it will tell me this is the segmentation here on this. Okay?
Google can't do that.
What's feeding the information, the numbers?
Traffic count is used by the State Department of Transportation.
What's feeding it? Like, how are they getting the
Okay.
numbers? They
And
have
I'm
live
like,
feeders
I
out
don't know
there,
what
are
I'm
they
doing,
looking at
so
it
I'll speak for the people.
satellite imaging?
Traffic counts are usually
Watch it,
counting
yeah, I'll
machines,
talk
like
about it.
cubes of the counts,
Sign
could be
in
via
and
cameras,
cite.
different techniques, could be light switches.
It's like, how am I gonna cite something?
Traffic itself could be with Google, they're using GPS data from your
I
phone.
don't think
Boom, you logged in on a Google account, it's tracking your location. And that's the reason why they know that there are a lot of cars there, because there are a lot of cell phones. So different reasons. All right.
I have a question, where
yes.
you clicked on that you saw the count, how did you do that again?
I just simply click on the idea of, in the middle of the map, click on it, and it came up. It's the identifier tool.
I see that.
So activate the layer, which you're interested in, and then just click on it and it works. You're getting in depth on that.
That was awesome.
Okay. For the purpose of time, we're doing one more tool. And then we then skip to business analyst. If you think this is cool, let's do something else. Add more data. Add data. Let's go to Living Atlas. And let's search for Cleveland. If you search for Cleveland, you can see that it's Cleveland 1881, 1912. There are different counties. There's Cleveland aerial photography from 1979. Let's take the 1951 and click OK. So it takes a moment, loads it up. So now I'm going to move Cleveland up in my drawing order. Do you see that? I click on it and I can move it with the mouse, left mouse button, press down. I can move it around. In doing so, my Cleveland is now on top of Florida traffic or the world traffic. Meaning, if this is my Cleveland and by accident it got added underneath the table, clicking on it and moving it up, it's now on top of the table and I will see it. Two things, if data disappears, look on the left side where it's allocated in the drawing order. And then use also the right click, zoom to layer to find it.
So this is where you were talking about earlier about putting the larger objects on top of the smaller objects.
Yep, this is the sand and the foot.
I don't have Cleveland 1951.
It's called
You should.
Cleveland
Oh,
Aerial.
it's there, but it didn't.
Aerial?
Yeah.
It didn't. It didn't
Okay,
move.
so it's grayed out here right now if you look carefully because it's too far out right now. If I zoom in, it pops up. Yeah? So I don't have to display. If I look at this higher thing, it doesn't make sense to show the Cleveland pictures at this level of scale. So I can zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. And at some point, all the historical photography comes in. You can see back in the days we did overlap pictures. Let's go closer to the shore here. Wait. I gotta do this very carefully. In case you would be interested in, hey, wait a minute, this is back then, how does today look like? You could go in and go here to layer, click here on Cleveland, go to layer, and there's a tool called swipe.
I did, I removed it.
So what we're going to do now is think about this. This is your Cleveland. You put it on top of your map. And with the swipe tool, we're doing this. Flipping it over. So if I click on the swipe, the cursor changes. Can you see that? And now I click left click. I can move things around.
How do you do that?
Swipe.
You can also do it the other way around. So it's really cool to say, okay, fine, how did the inner harbor area change? So zoom in,
That's sick.
change this. So depending on what I show now on the back,
Click Cleveland. How's that look like to the right? No.
you can do that. This is super exciting if you do that in Europe. Why? Because if you have pictures in Europe, let's say from 1930s and 1945, or like in the 1950s, like just around the war, and then you look at, let's say Berlin, before and after, it's... Okay? I do encourage you guys to play with this. Simple exercises like, hey, let me find another data set. Let's use that swipe tool again. The swipe tool is not a lifesaver for analytics. It's a lifesaver to get around in the software. Because now you have to figure out how am I moving, zoom in, zoom out with my mouse wheel, etc. Yeah? Why is this disappearing right now? What does this mean to me? This is a panic attack. Ooh, my data is gone. No. You need to understand that sometimes data displays only in a certain scale. You can see this down here. Yeah? You can set this up. You can disable that.
How do you take the swipe thing away?
Click here on swipe, then go back to map and say explore.
It's under the layer tab in the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right? Let's do something cool.
Just
Let's
please.
close Pro. Don't have to save
That
it.
is cool.
I don't. I rebuild it next time.
Ah, you're back. Back up to
If
speed. You're
I'm going
Let's
back
see.
to ArcGIS Online in my Chrome browser, yeah, and if I go back to home, I have not taken care of these dots.
Business analyst.
These dots are magic. These dots are freaking cool.
Freaking cool dads.
You might not see all of them, but you must see this business analyst. Okay? You also could log in as bao.arcgis.com or esri.com. So if we refer to business analyst online, your acronym is going to be BAO. Not BOA, but BAO. If I click on this, it fires up a different screen. Everyone should have permissions for that. Pretty sure I gave everyone permissions. So it fires this up, and I apologize, it's the last 20 minutes, and you see a new screen. But this is super simple. If you felt very happy with ArcGIS Online, this is similarly cool. What we need to do is, we need to understand that A, we're looking at the USA. I could do this in all other countries, but not all the data is available in other countries. If you want to look at demographics, pretty much everywhere you find demographics. If you want to look at the consumer spending on laundry detergent, you might not find that in Germany because they might not assess that. Yeah? We're staying in the United States. Unless otherwise noted, we're staying in the US. It's the most data richness part of the licensing. Okay? We're going through all these little details later. The major thing is the maps and reports. Don't click them. Just point, hover over it. What we're going to do is now we're starting a project. Go with maps. I tested one here. So we're going to create a new project. It will ask us for the name. Go to maps.
It's on the bottom for us.
On the bottom for you guys.
Yeah.
What?
No, like on that screen, it's for you, like it's on the top right, and for us, it's just like in the middle. You see what I mean? For you it's here, because you have new business on.
Okay, fine. Well, find a button on the screen that says create project.
On map.
Yes.
Okay.
On maps or create project. And I just call it test form. Alright? And I create this. Test form. So, if you name something over the course of these exercises, if you use something in the assignments or projects, be aware that this is in an organization, so if you call something the same way, it might, particularly on the data side, it might bite you. So please get used to the idea that if you say project or project 1, then do your initials, TW. Something that is unique to you. Yeah? Otherwise, I'm going to have assignment 1 data for 26 students, and everyone's like, I can't save it, I can't use it. Use your initials. I will put that in writing in your assignment. All right, has been created, and I open it up. Okay. Looks a little bit cluttered, but it is a map in the background. We have seen a map before in the background. Okay? I'm going to click here on the X, because I don't want to see it right now. Yeah? I'm going to click here on tests to have this disappear. Alright? So this is my Business Analyst Online Mapping project, which means it's Business Analyst. Everything in that map is associated with some data. I can pull out, I can display, I can report about. Okay? Yes?
Excuse me, we're doing some of this, how do we know that when we're being charged once in a while we do it? Is there a way to know that?
Yes or no? The reports will show, but you also will see in your profile, come down here, and after a certain moment, it actually will update that. So it's not real time, it will take a moment. So if we go for everything I have on the script today, it would be 15 points. To give you an idea, it goes costly if you do report after report after report after report and not thinking smart. If you need one variable out of that report, but the report contains like 150 different items, you're getting charged for 150 different items in that report, rather than one little bracket you need. So we're going to do that. I teach you guys to do customized reports. Let's say on 1 or 2 sheets, you have everything you need for a specific line of thought, rather than 6, 10-page different projects. And you have to pull them in. So work smart, work hard. Are you stretching or
Yes, sir.
are you? Yep. He's a perfect peripheral vision. He's like, I can see him even if I look at the screen. Alright, so again, map used to that. We can now go in and say here, zoom to Miami, or we can use here the zoom factors, which, now it gives us states, congressional districts, counties, zip codes, census tracts, block groups. That's the stuff I started my lecture today. Yeah? Like, okay, how does this look like in zip codes? So this is some of the zip code level, and I would be able to zoom in closer to Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Yeah? The easy idea for those who are not from Florida to find our location is in Earth, this is Florida, Miami. Go down here to Miami, a little bit north of it. Here you see the big lake, I cannot spell, Okeechobee.
That was bad.
Between this one, which looks like a big eye, and the tip here, you will zoom in, and a great locator to find our campus and our region is 595 coming across the Everglades. And that little cut here is Western, this is IKEA, Sawgrass Mill, yeah? And the closer you zoom in, you will see certain things. Fort Lauderdale Harbor, Fort Everglades. The airport, 595 from the other way around, and we're just south of 595, and the reason why you can find it easily is this is Pine, this is Nob Hill, and this is Pine Island. And Pine Island has its snake-style form. See that? So even if you zoomed out already, you can see here is Pine Island, so we are about here. Alright? This is home base. Everyone got that? So I can now create maps from data. If I click on this one gently, it pops up with color-coded maps, smart maps, business search, and suitability. So the further you go to the right, the more complicated pain you will cause. So if I go color-coded maps, it asks me, hey, what do you want to color code? All right. What's the thing I keep talking about? That's the population. Predefined population. Now I can see the data richness and the abyss where I can sink in and dive. Let's take a look at, let's say, simply total population 2018. Click on that and say, just simply click on it. So now it pops up and shows us population. On the left side, we can rearrange the color coding. Remember we talked about intervals?
That's not the menu I had, it's the same options, yeah. Yeah.
You got that? You want me to repeat that?
Yeah, correct.
Alright, if I would like to create a map from data, I go to Create Maps from Data, Color-Coded Map. In doing so, it will pop up.
Where's my hood?
It will pop up and ask me, it will ask me, hey, which one do you want to use? Yeah? You can cancel this. So it pops up with this one. Let me do this not in full screen so you can see actually everything on the bottom. Yeah? Depending on the resolution on your computer, you actually see here what's happening at the bottom. At home on a laptop, it looks different than here in the computer lab, because of the scale of the resolution of the computer. So I want to do population. I want to then see categories, population, search within, or use popular stuff. So popular stuff would be 2018 population. SREE in the back gives you the idea who is the data vendor or responsible to create that data. So that's estimations from SREE. They're really good, but they're not census data. So if I click on this one, we'll take that variable, we'll pull the data in, and since our map right now is in the scale, let's say, on census tracts, it will pop this up and gives me more data here. I can zoom in and zoom out. You already see it will take some time to retrieve that data. So depending on the speed of internet, this might be a very painful work or not. All right. So if I hover over these, you can already see there's this really cryptic block group ID number. It's not anymore Weston or Davy, it's a specific block group. That's how you identify between state, county, census tract, and then block group. If you click into it, you could select it of special interest, or you can use infographics. Ready? Infographics. Infographics. Where did you go? Infographics. Why are you taking minutes now? It shows you now, for that selected area, what are stereotype information, let's say college education, high school, public businesses, income, in this type of really cool graphics you can plug into a report.
And how did you pull that up?
That's what we call infographics.
It's like save in order to view it.
How do you get rid of it?
This is something in the real estate world, this is something that, a lot of realtors are using, they're trying to sell property.
Yep.
So, something like that, can we draw our own customized, like,
Yep.
map that we want to search within?
Yep, let's get out of here again. All right, for a random selected area here, let's move over to this little stretch here in something here, very distinct shape. If I click on this one here, listen up guys, listen up. If I click up here on this one, it gives me the additional information. I could run a report, or I could run infographics. And infographics is like a predefined sheet, gives me like funny looking pictures, funny looking figures. And if I do this now here, infographics, we will load that data, key facts, education, etc. We also have here to the top left, you should, but we'll get there. You also have to the top left, you could go and have other information that could be in that infographic. So I'll just click for the fun of nearby restaurants. For that selected area right now, it will generate an infographics if there are restaurants or not. Right now, there are none, which makes sense because it's pretty much at the end of the applicants. Okay?
Median household, white collar, blue collar, unemployment rate.
This is how I could use color-coded maps for any of variables I can think of in the database. I can also go here for the style and change the type of the map. Remember, I gave a full lecture on how to colorize and symbolize your data. So I could go and say, why don't you just give me the counts and amounts instead of all these filled areas. And now I have my bubble charts. Look, super simple. This on, go to style. Everyone look at the big screen. Yeah? On your screen it's not shown. Style, And then I can just say, you know what? There are different styles I would like to use. This color amounts color was probably pre-selected. I'm going to do counts and amounts by size. Remember the California example, the different counties where we displayed by size of the circles? This is similar. I also can say, you know what? More options. I would like to adjust the size, and this is where the distribution comes in. And you will remember? I can adjust the size only to the smaller ones, or I can do this, or I really don't care about the main part of the population here. That's my curve. That's how I can build that. I also can classify my data with natural breaks or equal intervals.
It says,
Lord Almighty, everything I told you in the earlier time on the lazy PowerPoint is interactive, boom, like this. Okay?
Yeah, you just gotta like.
Let's blow your mind completely, and then we have enough material for a really cool assignment. Okay? So if I...
One more time, on the curve.
No, don't have the time for that.
okay.
Let's get this set up.
Online.
Okay.
I've got
We'll get up
to
with
clean up a
haters.
little bit here.
Are you in class?
I want to switch the style back to a color setup. Yeah, so you can work on this together. Alright? So,
Welfare checks. Welfare checks, averaging.
so I've been talking so much about drive time.
Think so?
Remember, that whole drive time thing is the reason why I'm standing in front of you. Enabled me to come to the US. How do I do drive time? Well, there are different ways to do that. I could go and define areas for report. Let's say find the location. Yeah.
How do you get rid of all those dots?
Well, I changed to the dots back to a colorful, just to make it life easier. So if I go and define for report, areas for report, and do find location, it will ask me for an address. I could also use this button here and pin an address if I want to. So what's the address of our university?
3301 College Avenue.
3301 College Avenue.
Maybe.
And it pops up here. Take that, pinpoint it down. For the fun right now, I don't...
Average student's dead.
So you can see
That's the key statistic there.
Alright, so now the second step, I could name that optional. I could name that Nova. Yeah. Then I can set up rings, or we can set up drive time. I don't want to have rings right now. I want to use drive time. So what I can do here with add rings and drive time or work time, later on again, I can set up here in the wizard on the left side. I'm going to set this up as default right now, 5, 10, and 15 minutes. Does this make sense? 5 minutes away? We're in Miami area. Now, let's do this. Change this to 15, to 30, and to 45.
So you do find areas for report.
And then you click apply.
Pick a location, or you can even drop a pin with that top right there.
So what it does is it will take now all the regular speed allowed on these streets and says within 45 minutes how many miles could you ride on these different types of streets. So that means you can see now here if you zoom in,
12.
this is a 15-minute radius or 15-minute drive time, which is about okay. I live in that distance. For some that said they might be off,
Yeah, I'm bringing that number.
you can use drive time. Angela, I think you said you were off, they're off. We can use the drive time in depth as in away from the facility or to the facility. It does the difference. There's also use traffic. You could even buy in the live traffic if needed. If you want to say, what's the drive time at 5 p.m., you can change that. For the purpose of the training exercises and blowing your minds today, we keep it 15, 30, and 45 minutes, no extra options.
So if they know that.
Bro, I had it on selfie and I was smiling like a bitch.
So
why did that happen?
We have seen infographics before.
Why do I look like this?
Next week we're going to do pretty much all day at applied hands-on. Yeah? Infographics again. Well, infographics, if I do this, click on infographics, it'll take a moment. But now, I have 3 different drive times. So now I will generate my infographics for 15 minutes, for 30 minutes, and for 45. So if in 45 minutes, my median age is changing to 41 years, versus in 15 minutes drive time, it's 39. Small, but could be of significant difference if needed.
Did you get that by going to get reports?
Infographics.
On it.
So then that becomes your variable?
Yeah. Someone was fast and clicked on reports.
But I give you infographics of value first 15 minutes or already?
You can use, because you did drive time, you can do infographics and you can switch between 15, 30, and 45 minutes, depending on what area you would like to cover in detail in discussion. Yeah? Final thing, reports. I know this is a fast pace. Yeah, I will summarize this. And you will, when you open this up next time to repeat, you're like, ah, I've seen this. The challenge right now is, where was the function? So if you remember the function and you're looking for it, it's a better learning than just like, I don't care, okay? If I am active here on the side and say reports, yeah? There are now a series of predefined reports. In the next session we're going to create a customized report which will pop up as my reports up here. I can scroll down, and could pick a random thing, just for the fun of it. Sports and leisure market potentials. You could pick up any report right now. And I say the export format and run the report. Processing, aka it will charge your account.
So essentially, anytime you run a report, it's going to get
Yes, every time you generate a report, but it will save the PDF in your document.
I was off by like 2 blocks.
Alright, now I can open that report.
It
Doesn't like my mouse clicks. Alright? So my example here is the sports and leisure market potential. So now you can read this. This is the current population over 18. This is for in 15 minutes drive time. Yeah? And it tells you now what is expected among these numbers of adults in the household, and percentage-wise, let's say, who participated in Frisbee in the last 10 months? You can scroll down and you say, for other activities, I think it was this one, who visited a theme park in the last year?
And how do they know that exactly?
Market research. And that's the reason why you pay a ton of money for that kind of software. Yeah? So you can go down there and go, watch sports, member of the ARP, member of a church board, yeah? Attended a movie in the last 6 months. Yes. Fairly okay. There is actually hundreds of documents showing how accurate they are with Martian data. Alright, that all set. That all set. If you go back to your content on ArcGIS Online, and you click on your content right now, it actually has your test map here.
attended a movie, had
Your reports are now saved in ArcGIS Online. Remember I said those buckets share data?
movie genre scene.
The report I created here right now, Business Analyst Online, is now in my bucket in projects. Okay? To sum this up, and now everyone is excited and
This is
here.
so cool.
What we learned today is, besides the theory of map creation and some ideas of symbology and how to use, let's say, intervals and certain color symbology, we explored ArcGIS Online, the different options we have. We played a little bit with the 3D stuff, where we pointed out how to find additional data in the living atlas. Yeah? We did that in the online version, we did that on ArcPro. Over the course of the semester, sessions, we are moving more into ArcPro. For now, the visual stuff is online. At the end of all of that, we open up Business Analyst Online. We logged in, we zoomed out and in out, started with navigation. We figured out very briefly how to use colored maps to map our data. We added a location of interest to the map as a defining areas of interest. And we ran a drive time analysis for a specific time on that. Then in both worlds we created infographics, or looked up predefined infographics, selected different ones, and we selected predefined reports. And that is accessible in any web browser that enables you using this, let's say Chrome, on any machine in the world with your account. That all said, the assignment, which is due for next session, is it? Yeah, fairly soon. Yeah, it's not posted yet because I haven't written it yet. Because I wasn't sure where we get today. The assignment is going to cover the elements we had today as the applied part. Yeah? That means you open up ArcGIS Online, you log in, you maybe add data or grade data or find data. I give you the advice, like step by step. I want you to see this first assignment as a guided testing. Go here, do this, show me that you have done it. It's like you would do a chapter in the book, but this time I want to see it. The book is great. If you can't get the exercise done on time in the book, the do, I'm not going to throw you out of class, but it is going to be a smaller disadvantage for you because you're losing practice time on the machine. The reason why you're so great in Excel, because Dr. Foggy tortured you with all the functions before. Huh? Lookups, lists here, that, functions here, copy and paste. If not, you get there. But there's a learning curve, and in computer software, it only gets there. Hey, what's behind that button? Be nosy and try to explore. Do explore this. It's completely okay to click on a few buttons and have this whole thing explode in front of you. That's how you learn it, how not to do it. Okay? Thank you very much for your time. This was a pleasure.